Greetings, folks. I haven't really done any junk picking in a long time just because of stay at home and all this other stuff. I went out recently and found a number of things, including this fan that will have a video either before this or after this. So I've recorded a video, it will get a video. We've got this, which is total junk. I'm gonna probably just end up taking it straight to the junkyard. Pretty clean, but it doesn't work. And I think it's a magnetron, and that's not worth fixing. I have this, which I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't have the power adapter, so probably just going to sell this. It's listed for sale. I don't know if anybody will buy it, considering nobody's bought any of the other printers that I have. So, I don't know. I might just break it on a video. Because the reviews are pretty bad on this thing anyway. Everybody seems to think that it's a universal piece of junk, so I don't know. There's other things, lots of stuff, including a clock that might get a video. I'm gonna have to fix it because the second hand is broken on it. But the subject of the video is actually that right there, which we'll go ahead and take a look at. This very bright teal laptop is a Toshiba. Yeah, I know it's upside down. You can see it's kind of a little messed up. And we can flip it around here. Maybe take a look. It's missing the hard drive, although this one would be easier to actually replace because it is IDE, but it does have the connector, although I don't have any spare IDE laptop hard drives. So, I'm not sure what this is. Model number AM2. ASCII Corporation. Does it have an IMEI on it? No, it's just a modem. I thought it was more than just a modem. But I think it's just a modem. Not sure why it's got this big massive sticker on it, but whatever. Wireless LAN. Windows XP product key. We have a satellite M70-SR2. Now, if I know how to interpret this right, that's a Celeron M380 CPU, 512 megs of RAM. No idea what that means. No idea what that means, unless it's a 100 gigabyte hard drive, which would be pretty huge for something like this. I have no idea what any of the rest of that means. So, the pertinent specs are basically that this is a Celeron M with 512 megs of RAM, assuming that the RAM is actually still there. Which I suppose we can check if I can find my screwdriver and make sure. I don't know if this is actually broken or what. I know nothing about this laptop. I do not have the power adapter. Not that it matters, because it's a pretty universal power adapter. 19 volts, 3.42 amps. Oh, it does have the RAM. I thought since the hard drive was missing, it probably wouldn't have the RAM, but it does actually have the RAM. Which is just 512 meg, so I guess it was never upgraded. I'm not sure why it's in the top slot, but I'll put it back there. I have a satellite A110, which is pretty much basically exactly the same machine. I think it might be a little bit newer. Where'd the screw go? I lost the screw. That's lovely. Oh, there it is. It's basically the same machine. I think that one's got a Celeron M410 in it. It's a little bit better. I think it's got more RAM in it as well. I'm not sure if it's newer or not. I've never taken it apart. So, let's see. I think this is busted. Yeah, that's pretty broken right there. You can just kind of see it. I don't know if I could get it out or not. I'm guessing that under here is the wireless card. Yeah, there's wireless. Looks like it's got some schmutz on it. You can see the CPU under there. Now, what is this? AR5BM-B5. ASCII Corporation. Atheros Communications. I don't see anything on it, but I would wager to bet that it's probably 802.11b. It might be 802.11g, but that's certainly as good as it's going to get for a mini PCI wireless card. What does it have otherwise? There's the optical drive. That's actually a DVD burner. That's not bad. Would be worth saving. Modem, a Kensington lock. Ethernet to USB. There's your power. VGA. Busted out fan port. That seems to be a common thing that people do to these. I'm not really sure how or why, but whatever. That's S-Video. There's FireWire, there's another USB plug, and I'm guessing that's probably a PCMCIA card slot. On the front, it's got the Wi-Fi switch. I guess these are ports, base ports for the speaker. And a volume knob. Hardware volume knob is pretty nice to have. Go ahead and open it up. See, there's some junk on the screen, but the one good thing is that it does not appear as though there are any cracks or anything like that, so the display is probably worth something. It's missing a whole bunch of screws. I'm not really sure what happened to this, why somebody would do that, but obviously the hinges are completely screwed. Yeah, that's oh, that's no good. Alright, well, whatever. Keyboard's intact. Even all the other damage is kind of amazing. There's a little trackpad. It's a little bit worn out. You can see it's kind of shiny, but it's not too bad. All things considered. Celeron M. Graphics by ATI. This is an ATI, what is that? Radeon Express 200M, I believe. And my experiences with that chipset are not very good. I remember having a desktop. It was an HP Pavilion, that gray thing. You may have seen it in some of my earlier videos. I think it was like an A1320N or something. But that had an Express 200M chipset, and that thing would not run anything other than Windows XP, so... although then again, I think the A110's got the same chipset, and I have Linux running on that, so... I don't know, I guess it was just implementation specific. Obviously the battery is no good. I don't know what I'm really going to do with it, because, I mean, the hard drive's missing, and I don't really need it. I suppose I do kind of really like the back panel. I think the nice teal color is quite attractive. That's because I like bright colors. But I suppose we should probably see if it actually does anything at all before I invest too much time in cleaning it up and figuring out what I'm going to do with it. So I'm going to go get the power adapter, or a power adapter, and we'll try it out, see what happens, if anything. Okay, it's plugged in, and it looks like it is trying to charge. Almost certainly that battery is no good. Well, let's see if the laptop actually works. That sounds lovely. It's not the sign of success. That does not look like that works at all. Yikes. I don't know. That's interesting. Well, that's not a very good sign, but we do at least know that it's doing something. So goodness only knows what that's going to be. I'm not really sure the proper erasure procedure on something like this. I'm guessing that you just have to pull the battery, but I don't know where the battery is, so I guess I can hunt for it, but I don't know if I care enough, really. Hey, now would you look at that? That's neat. I'll show it in a second, but it looks, I guess it's supposed to be like a jumper or whatever. I'm not really sure what you'd call it. It's like a little line. It's labeled, on this unit it's labeled JOpen1. JOpen1. On the, I was looking it up, trying to research, and one guy who showed basically the same procedure, it was labeled J1 on his, and it was in a different position. But before I wrap up this video, I'll show you what I did to basically reset the BIOS here, so you can see, get an idea as to what's here. So, pretty much, that's pretty standard stuff. I'm not sure there's a whole lot that's really worth demonstrating. Yeah, so the passwords are now clear. I might turn that on. I don't care about that. Maybe we will leave it on. It's not really going to matter. I don't know, does this thing actually support USB booting? I kind of wonder about that. We'll see what it does. I might put it back together now that I know that it's going to work. So obviously that's not going to work. Huh. I wonder if it's just in a loop. Okay, it looks like it will actually do USB booting. So that's cool. Go ahead and we'll just run, if this will boot on this machine, we'll go ahead and we'll run some Linux Mint. It's obviously not going to run 64-bit, it's a Celeron M. Well, that's not quite the visual of success. I'm guessing it thinks that it's got a second screen. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. Okay, well, this is obviously not Linux Mint. 19.3, you might have noticed. A couple of things that I have discovered in the time before the, or between the last clip and now. It would not start up properly. I just got some weird graphical, like it was stretched or something, and it kept trying to default to this onboard display. Which is anti-X 19.3, I think, was doing the same thing, but at least with this, it was easier to figure out how to get that disabled. Especially once I realized that the reason I couldn't do anything with the mouse is because the trackpad is either disconnected or is broken. You can see I am moving my hand and it is doing nothing at all, so that's kind of useless. You may have noticed some graphical glitching. I'm not really sure what the deal is with that, but I'm willing to bet that it's probably somewhat related to the fact that this is a Radeon Express 200M and some of the unreliability that I have noticed with those. That's really bad. But basically what we've got going on here is a Celeron M at, looks like 1.6 gigahertz, I'm guessing. The Express 200M. It does actually have audio. And even though the ether or the wireless is seen by the system, I can't actually get it to work. So I don't know, whatever. That really kind of eliminates a lot of the stuff that I could possibly do with this, so I think that's really going to do it for that part of the video. It's not necessarily something that I'm probably going to end up keeping, even though I do like the blue, or the teal, I guess, back panel. I've got to decide whether or not this is something that is actually worth anything to me, and it really, really isn't. With the limited space that I have to work with, I have to decide with things like this, what am I going to do with it? And there are any number of uses that one could think of for something like this. I mean, you could run Windows XP on it. I don't think you could run anything newer than XP on something like this, but Windows XP would be fairly nice to run on this, but how many Windows XP machines do I actually need? You know, I've got at least one other system with Windows XP and a Celeron CPU that might not be better than this, but it's got more value to me personally than this, being as though that system was my grandmother's old machine, and this is just a random piece of crap I pulled off the side of the road. So that is out. I could run Linux on it, but I've got the Satellite A110 that has better specs than this and is in much better condition than this that's already running Linux, so I don't really need it for that either. And what else is there for it to do? I could use it as a server, but why would I do that when I've got desktops laying around that I can also eminently use as a server that would be better than this? So it doesn't really have a whole lot of uses. I may see if I can pull the display apart and see if I can figure out what's wrong with it. And if I can, I might actually take the display off and put the display on the A110, because the display on the A110 has a... Somebody spilled, I think, if I remember what I was told right, somebody spilled beer on it, and it wrecked the lower right corner of the screen. It's got a nice big black blotch on it. Okay, I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to upload it as a separate video, just because I think that it would be a useful thing to have as a separate video for people who are looking for this information. They don't have to come to the end of this video just to watch it. But for those that are here for it, just suffice it to say, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it in this lighting, but right down there, that thing, that says JOpen1. Stick a screwdriver on top of that for 20 seconds, and that will wipe the CMOS settings. There's another video on YouTube that I'll put in the video description that shows the process, but that particular laptop, even though it's still a Toshiba Satellite M70, has the jumper somewhere in the vicinity of this, which is why I was confused at first until I started looking around in here, labeled J1 instead of JOpen1. But whatever the case may be, that's pretty much it for this, so thank you for watching. If you've got any comments, feel free to leave them down below. I'm not sure if the battery in this is good. I'll have to let it charge, see if it actually charges.